Hello and welcome. Today we're looking at frequency sweeping using an EQ. So what exactly is frequency sweeping and why do we use it? Well, let's have a look first at why we use it. One, it can help us identify problems in our sound that may need cutting. So there might be some bad resonance or just a frequency range that sticks out just a little bit too much. And two, it can help us find sweet spots in our sound that we may want to boost to help improve our sound. And finally, three, it can really help you to train your ears, really help train you to listen. It does this really by breaking down sound into its component parts. So let's have a look at how we do this frequency sweeping thing. Let's first of all listen to what sound we're going to use for this. What I've got here is 1 bar loop of drums. It is actually live drums. Let's have a quick listen. That'll do nicely. Now our drum kit consists of a pair of microphone overheads, 1 kick mic and 1 snare mic. And they're all going to this track here, which is the drum bus. So to do frequency sweeping, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open an EQ on the drum bus because that basically affects all of our drums. I've already got Reaper's EQ open and ready. So we're going to look at 3 techniques for frequency sweeping. So let's have a look at the 3 ways of doing this. The first one is called boost and sweep. That involves us choosing one of the bands, going to our EQ type, and we want a bell EQ, or band as Reaper calls it. Going to narrow my bandwidth. When you get used to using this technique, you'll decide just how wide or narrow your bandwidth needs to be for your needs. Going to bring the frequency all the way back to 20 Hertz. And now what we're going to do is we're going to boost. 8 or 9 dB. Yet again, when you get used to using it, you'll decide just how much boost you want to use, as well as how much bandwidth. Now we press playback, and what we're going to do is we're going to move the frequency selector through the frequency spectrum. And by having it boosted, it can help us identify problem areas. Let's go back to 20 Hertz and play. You can really hear the kick coming in there. Hertz, bottom end of your snare. So you see you can really home in on frequency ranges. And just listen to what sticks out. What sticks out a little bit too much is the idea. Bit of an odd sound there. And so once you find a range that you want to cut, then you just quite simply cut it right there. And then play it back to make sure you like your result. So number 2 technique is called cut and sweep. Basically, it's the opposite of boost and sweep, because we begin by cutting. 8 or 9 dB, yet again, alter to suit your needs. Now, the cut and sweep technique for me is if you know that you're going to cut something, then this straight away tells you what it sounds like when it's cut. But yet again, you sweep around until you find what you're looking for. Again, I'm going to take my frequency selector, go all the way back to 20 Hertz and play. And just move it around. Maybe you don't like that snare sticking out so much. You'll bypass it. And just see what sounds good. Experiment lots. That's the key with all 3 techniques anyway. Does this cut help? Maybe you cut around 1000 Hertz. Bypass. So I think you're starting to get the idea of where the frequency sweeping name comes from. I'm going to double left click on my gain, puts it back to default value. The final one that I'm going to show you is what I refer to anyway as solo and sweep. And these days this tends to be my favorite one. So let's have a look at what we're doing. Yeah, again, you choose whichever EQ band you want to use. Now this time we're going back to our type drop down menu, and when you do your drop down, we see the usual suspects, or two shelf EQs, or band EQ, bell EQ, low and high pass filters. We're not using any of them. We're going to use a different one today. So we're going to go all the way down here. This one's called band pass, as you can see, and that's the one we're going to choose. So what is a band pass EQ? Well, you can think of a band pass as being both a high pass filter and a low pass filter used at the same time. In the case of this one, we can alter the bandwidth, just like with a bell EQ, because it is a bell EQ shape. Any frequencies within its band are allowed to pass unaffected, hence the name band pass. But everything both above and below this band are attenuated, effectively soloing that area. So again, let's bring the frequency back over here and let's play. So as you can hear, we can barely hear anything. So let's start moving our frequency selector. You can hear our kick coming in there. Yeah, there's the bottom end of our snare. Hear how much the sound really changes by the time we get up to there, 500 Hertz. Continue on up. 1K can be a very nasty area, easy does it. Up around 2.5, 3K, you really start hearing the cymbal come in. And at about 4K, even more cymbal. So you just sweep around like so until you find something that you want to either cut or boost. As I mentioned already, this is my kind of favorite technique these days. Mostly because basically you're not being distracted by the rest of the sound. All you're hearing is the area that you select with your frequency selector. So choose any of the 3 techniques that you think suit you, try them all out. The main thing is keep experimenting. Either which way, whichever one you choose, frequency sweeping is really going to help you with your EQing decisions. There you have it. If you like this video, please do subscribe and like. I also welcome questions and comments, always welcome. There are lots more of these videos coming, so be sure to check in. And I'll see you in the next video.